Alright, so a second video on irrational equations. So we've already solved some of these. So rational equations, equations with square roots in them. So I've already done a video doing those two examples, and now just a slightly trickier example because I have got two square roots in it. Okay, so the approach is the same. You want to get a square root on its own and square it to get rid of the square root. Now, you've got two square roots in this question, so you've got a choice of which one you get on its own. Okay, so just pick one. All right, so I will leave the 2x minus 1 where it is. So have it on the left hand side on its own and bring the other one over. So I've got 5 on the right hand side. I'm bringing plus the square root of x minus 1 over, so it's going to become minus the square root of x minus 1. Okay, so now I need to square both sides. I'm going to get rid of this square root. And then square again the entire right hand side, so not just each individual part. So left hand side, the square and the square root cancel, so you're just left with 2x minus 1. On the right hand side, so when you square out a bracket like this, it's first term squared, so 5 squared is 25. It's the second term squared, so minus the square root of x minus 1 by minus the square root of x minus 1. Minus by a minus is a plus, and root x minus 1 by root x minus 1 is just x minus 1. So you're multiplying the square root of x minus 1 by itself. That's the square root of x minus 1 squared, so square root and the squared cancel, and you are just left with x minus 1. Don't now forget your third term on this side, so it will be 5 multiplied by minus the square root of x minus 1 multiplied by 2. So 5 multiplied by minus the square root of x minus 1 is minus 5 root x minus 1. And then when you multiply that by 2, you're going to get minus 10 times the square root of x minus 1. So that is your third term. So first term by second term by 2. So 5 times that is minus 5. That times 2 is minus 10. That. Now, if you look at this line here, I've still got a square root in my equation, but I've only got 1 now. So if I go with the same approach I've been taking, get this square root on its own, square both sides, and that will get rid of the square root, and then I'll be able to solve. So let's move that over to the left hand side, so it's positive, doesn't really matter, but I'll move that to the left hand side and this to the right hand side. So bring the minus 10 over, it becomes plus 10 root x minus 1 equals, right hand side I've got 25 plus x plus minus 1 is just minus 1. Bring the 2x over, it becomes minus 2x. Bring the minus 1 over, it becomes plus 1. So I've got 10 times root x minus 1 is equal to, I have got x minus 2x, so that is minus x. I've got plus 1 minus 1, that's 0, so just 25. Now, you can leave the 10 there in front of the square root when you square it. That's fine. You don't need to bring it over and deal with fractions. So I'm going to square that left hand side to get rid of that root, and that means I'm going to square the entire right hand side as well. So the left hand side here, so 10 multiplied by root x minus 1. So when you square that, you're just going to square both parts separately. So 10 squared is 100, and root x minus 1 squared is just x minus 1. The square root and the squared cancel. And then that is equal to minus x squared is, minus x by minus x is plus x squared. 25 squared is 625. Yeah. Plus 625. And then don't forget your third term. So 25 by minus x is minus 25x. Multiplied by 2 is minus 50x. Let's multiply the left hand side out. So 100x minus 100 equals x squared minus 50x plus 625. So let's get everything over to the right hand side and we'll solve it. So 0 equals x squared minus 50x plus 625. Bring the 100x over, it becomes minus 100x. Bring the minus 100 over, it becomes plus 100. So 0 equals x squared. Minus 50x minus 100x is minus 150x. 625 plus 100 is plus 725. Now, you could do guide number and you could get factors of 725. They'd have a difference of 150 between them. That would give you a kind of guideline that you'd be able to get them. But to be honest, in the pressure of exam, if I was facing something like that, I'd probably just jump straight into minus b. If I'm looking at factors of 725, they don't seem as obvious to me. Just do minus b is probably the best approach here. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So a is the number in front of the x squared, so a is equal to 1. B is the number in front of the x, so that is minus 150. And the c is the number on its own at the end, so that is 725. So x is equal to minus b, so that's minus 150. Plus or minus the square root of b squared is going to be minus 150 squared. Minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 725. These are quite big numbers, but we're going to do it all in the calculator. All over 2a, so all over 2 times 1. So minus 150 is plus 150. So x is equal to 150 plus or minus the square root of. I would just plug everything under that square root onto the into the calculator. So minus 150 squared, just be careful typing that in. It is going to be brackets minus 150, close your brackets, squared. Okay, so the negative number needs to go inside the bracket and the squared outside, or else the calculator won't know what you're asking it to do and it can give you the wrong answer. So minus 4 brackets 1, bracket 725. So on that square root, I've got 19,600. So remember that is what's under the square root, so you still got the square root symbol. All over 2a, so all over 2. So let's split that in 2. So x is equal to 150 plus root 19,600 over 2, or x is equal to 150 minus root 19,600 over 2. So 150 plus the square root of 19,600 is 290, divided by 2 is 145. So x is equal to 145. Over here then, 150 minus root 19,600 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So x is equal to 5. Now, don't forget on these questions that they will always throw up a kind of a false solution. So one of these won't work with the original equation. So don't forget to sub them back in. So my original equation is root 2x minus 1 plus root x minus 1 is equal to 5. So let's sub 145 in here. So root 2 times 145 minus 1 plus root x is 145 minus 1 is equal to 5. So 2 times 145 is 290, minus 1 is 289. So root 289 plus 145 minus 1 is 12. Sorry, 145 minus 1 is 144. I'm skipping ahead of myself there. Is equal to 5. So root 289 is 17. Yeah. So root 289 is 17 plus root 144 is 12 is equal to 5. 17 plus 12 is 29. Is 29 equal to 5? No, it is not. So this doesn't work. Okay, so we sub 5 in. It should. So it's the square root 2x minus 1. So 2 times 5 minus 1 plus the square root of x minus 1. So that's 5 minus 1. Is that equal to 5? So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So root 9 plus 5 minus 1 is 4. So that's root 4 equal to 5. So the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 4 is 2 is equal to 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. Is 5 equal to 5? Yes, it is. So that's my solution. X is equal to 5. So don't forget to do that. At the end, it's a really easy thing to do, to forget to do, especially if it's kind of a long question like this.